the presentation of Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. And our main man, Dave Flemming, was down there. He joins us once again this week. It's been a very emotional week, but what a celebration for Willie Mays yesterday. Rickwood Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Giants do lose, but I thought the pregame festivities, and we'll get into something that Reggie Jackson said. Dave, good morning, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing well, and I got to say, last night, Major League Baseball put on the show. Fox Sports put on the show. The presentation, the field looked amazing. The aesthetics, the uniforms, and then, of course, the honoring of all the Negro League players before the game. The pageantry, John Batiste, the jams were hitting. What a scene last night. What was it like being there at Rickwood Field, Flem?
It was amazing. I thought MLB did an awesome job and long overdue to have a game like that. There are a lot of people for a lot of years who have tried hard, and MLB has been a part of that. They've definitely participated in, and there are players from the Negro Leagues who are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They've tried to sort of celebrate and put into context the contributions that all those men put into the game, but nothing like last night, and long overdue, and extremely well done and extremely moving. We were obviously focused on Willie, and it was an emotional night to think about Willie. And when I first walked into the park, I was just sort of speechless. You just look out to center field, and it's impossible not to imagine Willie, 16 years old, standing out there. He was born basically in that neighborhood. He grew up just a few miles from that field. So I thought it was great, handled beautifully by everybody. It was so cool to see how many recent former players just wanted to be there. They just wanted to be there and watch and see and meet those guys. There's so many of the great players who've only recently retired were there. It was just all the way around really incredible. I'm so glad the Giants were able to be a part of that, and we were able to be there.
Were you able to catch, and obviously you were working the game, but were you able to catch any of the pregame ceremony or any of the pregame comments on Fox specifically? We just played it. I don't know if you saw it, but the Reggie Jackson story was powerful.
Yeah, I just heard, or maybe even didn't hear, just read after the game. Obviously, we weren't watching the pregame show. We were watching the pregame festivities, but not the pregame show. Very powerful, and I'm glad he said it. I think way too often when we do this kind of stuff, we sort of sugarcoat and romanticize, as opposed to coming to grips with the actual reality of what happened to those guys. And you pair together what he said with watching those players, those living former players, walk onto the field before the game, and you think about everything that every single one of them and all the others who are long gone or couldn't be there with us last night had to go through. It's important that we acknowledge that, and not just celebrate all the stuff that they did on the field and how talented they were, but also talk about and come to grips with the stuff that they had to deal with.
Yeah, no, it was powerful. I started tearing up during the interview, Flem, and especially John Batiste started jamming out there and playing their music and playing their tunes and dancing. I was like, this is just unbelievable. Started making me regret about not being there down there in Birmingham, Alabama, Flem. But did you catch Barry Bonds? He was also on the pregame set. I don't know if you caught Barry Bonds, but I'm going to play it for you. Even if you did, I'm going to play it over for you. They asked Barry Bonds on the panel. It was Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, King Griffey Jr., and, of course, Barry Bonds alongside Kevin Burkhardt. It's like, what the heck is going on here? And Barry Bonds, they asked him what would happen if he faced Satchel Paige in an at-bat. Here's Barry B.
Tell me right now, on the spot, what would you do against Satchel Paige?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Gone. You done lost your mind, Jeter. Gone. Simple. Gone. Read about it on ESPN, Fox News, whatever else you want to talk about. You got to believe in yourself. If I don't believe in me, Who gonna believe in me?
That's right.
I'm a drag
don't.
button. Derek, you said I'm drag button. I'm gonna
Take all those people off the field.
We're gonna rate you
I don't
first.
care, gone. Me and you, brother.
Barry Bonds right there showing the confidence in here. You gotta love it. And you know what, Flip? It was actually cool to see Major League Baseball and Fox put Barry on that platform. We know what's gone on with Barry Bonds, and he's kind of been away from the game. We've seen him recently at Oracle Park a lot. He's been representing the Giants as an ambassador, and it feels like finally there's been this this impasse where Barry Bonds is now being propped up on Major League Baseball, and he's being shown to all the young fans or whatnot. And I thought Barry Bonds did well on television, man. It's good to see Barry in this light, Flem.
Well, that made me laugh. So you did a good job there. That was good. I'm with you. I mean, obviously, if we're going to keep running Alex Rodriguez out there, I like Alex, but there's no reason why Barry shouldn't be included in all this stuff. He should be, and there's a time for the different debate with Barry about the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, but at a bare minimum, to acknowledge the incredible importance he has had in our city and in the modern history of the game. Come on, let's stop sticking our heads in the sand and pretending. Let's just include him in that stuff. He should be there.
Well, it was just an incredible panel, too. Obviously, you got the likes of A-Rod, Derek Jeter, David. It was just so much greatness being personified there, and it was just an awesome celebration last night. But going back to the game that was actually being played, and I know it kind of felt like that was small potatoes, right, in comparison to what was going on. But this team right now is 4 games under 500, the San Francisco Giants. What do you make of them, Dave, as they go to St. Louis now for 2 more games? And I know they've been battling a lot of injuries, and it's good to see Elliot Ramos get that 3-run jack last night. That was fun to see. Where are you at with this team right now?
Well, they're starting to fray a little bit. The injuries are catching up to them on both sides of the ball, but I would say especially on the pitching side, because the Giants, even though you look down the list and no Lamont Wade, who's been their best hitter this year, other I guess now maybe you could say other than Ramos, although both have been really, really good. But Chapman has struggled, and Conforto has struggled, and others here recently. But with that, the Giants are climbing the ladder in terms of offense, runs per game. The offensive numbers really, compared to the rest of the league, they look pretty good, and the Giants pitching numbers look terrible. And, again, last night you give up runs right away to start the game. You end up allowing 6 to a team that isn't exactly swinging the bats brilliantly and is missing some of their top guys. It's happening way too much. And, part of it isn't just the pitching. It's the little things that go with the pitching. The Giants they're just way too generous right now with extra bases. They're getting run on like crazy. Their pitchers can't hold down the running game and give Patrick Bailey even a decent chance. Kirk Casale's having a hard time when he's back there. They're picking on him. A wild pitch scored a run last night. A pass ball has scored a run recently. They dropped an out at Wrigley that could have been in the difference. They didn't execute a pickoff last night. They had Mason Wynn out. That could have been the difference in the game. Like, how many extra outs and plays like that are you going to give the opponent night after night? And so when you're beat up, when your starting pitching is just a shell of itself, they have 2 starting pitchers right now, 2. And so the bullpen's getting overtaxed. It's all sort of like a cascade effect. You do all that, and then you start making these little mistakes game after game. That's not a winning formula.
No, it's not. It feels like it's 2023 all over again with the pitching staff. I mean, they're not. Keaton Wynn 2 2/3. He's got to get right. He's got to get going. Blake Snell, when is he coming back? I know you touched on Robbie Ray a couple weeks ago with this, Flem, about him possibly coming back right after the All-Star break. So, yes, the pitching, they've got to step it up here as they go to St. Louis and play the rest of the series. And, of course, they come back home Monday against Chicago. So, to me, Flem, right now, the team, I know they're losing, and it's about what they do and getting to the playoffs or whatever, but it was so secondary to me last night and this week because of the passing of the great Willie Mays to say, hey, kid. And I just wonder Monday what the festivities may look like for Willie Mays when the Giants do return home against the Chicago Cubs. I was thinking last night as Ramos hit a home run, what if when the Giant hit a home run at Oracle Park, Flem, and they're running the bases, you just play the Say Hey song in honor of Willie Mays. I don't know what to do. You do it for the rest of the season, but I'm just trying to think of ways to honor Willie Mays, and I wonder what Monday's going to look like when they host the Cubs back at Oracle Park.
Yeah, I don't know. They're working on it right now, and I haven't heard. I mean, we've been so wrapped up, and rightfully so, in Ed Wrigley celebrating Willie, and then going last night and diving into that game. I haven't heard from back home what they're working on. I'm sure they are, and they'll probably have they'll be. It's not going to be one night where Willie gets celebrated. I think this will be something that probably goes on throughout the rest of the year. I know the Giants are going to hold. I mean, there will be a Willie Mays Day at our ballpark forever and ever. He's going to be honored until the Giants stop playing baseball as a franchise. But I don't know. I mean, Giants do that stuff really well typically, but it isn't. Sometimes it isn't that easy short term to pull together everything that you'd like to have. So maybe there's a chance that we have the moment of silence. We have some messages for the fans and some memorializing on Monday, but maybe there's a later date where we really do it up. I don't know. There's nothing you can do that can properly honor that guy and the contributions he made to our franchise. Like, there's nothing. It will never live up to what Willie did for the Giants.
I would love for him just to play the Say Hey song. 30 seconds to Say Hey. Yeah. I love the Say Hey song. I grew up on it, Flem. You've been here with the Giants for a long time. You know all about that song. I just love to see home runs, and you just play Say Hey, and the crowd sings Say Hey is Ramos or or Matt Chapman are running the bases, and they touch home plate. I don't know.
Did you know? Here, maybe I'll let it play for a second. Did you know? I didn't know.
It's so good.
I mean, that's how you know you're great. When you have your own jingle. Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, you know you made it when you have your own jingle.
You need a Dave Flemming song.
It is a great song. And you know what? Quincy Jones produced that song. Did you know that?
Yeah,
really?
No,
I did not know that.
I found out over the last 2 days.
Quincy Jones, young Quincy Jones, produced that song, which I find to be amazing. The guy, so the Triniers are the group that sang that song. Milt Trinier, who was kind of the lead guy, is still alive.
Wow.
He's 97 years old, and he's still with us. I think he lives outside Chicago. And I said to the Giants, I know he's long, he years ago retired from performing, but he performed like till he was 90. And I said, you got to at least call the guy. Just call him and see if he can show up. But send the private jet, whatever it takes. See if we could get him to San Francisco. I doubt it's possible. He just 97 years old. It's tough to fly across the country, but he's still with us, and it is a great song, and it just makes you smile. Which to me, Willie makes you smile. That's his whole gift to the world over all those years.
I mean, he just had. That's exactly what we were talking about when he passed on my show. I was just talking about his infectious smile is just something that resonates through a screen. Like, I just think of certain players and great guys like Magic Johnson. I think of the same thing. Just that smile with the great players, and there's something about it that just it feels bigger than the sport. And he did mention Quincy Jones, so I just looked it up real quick because I do know the name. He's 91, still with us, by the way. So he produced Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra, and Willie Mays. It's a pretty good life right there. That's pretty good company for the Say Hey Kid to be with the likes of those guys.
I would say.
Dave, we're celebrating Willie here. Was there any new stories or conversations you had with any of the players, family members, what have you, that you didn't hear before, but you heard the last couple days?
I had never heard the story. Try Hawkins told me a story, and he's probably told it before, but I had never heard it from him last night. Sorry about that beeping in the background. I apologize for that. But LaTroy, he told me that his grandfather was a massive Willie Mays fan. He was not unique. Willie was everybody's favorite player, right? So LaTroy Hawkins, who pitched for the Giants and many other teams, had a distinguished career, and he was there at the game last night. So I was talking to him. He said, so he got to know Willie the years he was with the Giants, and Willie, he would go into the office, Murph's office, when Willie was there and hang with him and talk with him. Oh, okay, great. And so one day he was in there, and he just happened to say to Willie, "Hey, Willie, my granddad, you were his guy, man. So I grew up hearing stories about you." And Willie said, "Call him." And Troy was like, "Right now?" He goes, "Yeah, call him." And so LaTroy pulls out his phone. They're sitting in the office, dials his granddad up. His granddad answers the phone, and LaTroy's like, "Hey, Pops, I got somebody who wants to talk to you." He hands the phone to Willie Mays, and Willie spends 20 minutes like, "Hey, and asking him all these questions about LaTroy and about himself. And LaTroy said, that made my granddad's life. Like the fact that I got somewhere where I could call him and have him talk to Willie Mays, to me, that is a great Willie Mays story, just because that's what Willie, it was like, yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, just call him. Let's talk to him.
That's who Willie Mays was, and that's why everybody is honoring him and smiling. And I know he was smiling from up above watching that game last night at Rickwood Field. Flemming, we're going to let you run. We appreciate you coming on twice with us this week. And what a week it has been for the Giants organization as we honor the great Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, who left us Tuesday afternoon at the age of 93. What a scene last night at Rickwood down in Birmingham, Alabama. And slowly but surely we'll get back to baseball because we know Giants got to start playing some good baseball here. They're in the midst of a losing streak here, but yesterday was all about Willie Mays and honoring the Negro League players, and what a scene put on by Major League Baseball and Fox Sports. And Flem, you sounded great last night as always. So Flem will join it. We'll talk to you next week, and hopefully the Giants will have a couple wins under their belt next time we talk to you.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, they need him. But great job by MLB. Wonderful to be there. Always good to talk to you guys. And I need a day without crying. So That's my goal today. We don't have a game tonight. It's weird on a Friday. So I'm going to just try to just chill out and not sob today. That's my goal.
It's been hard. Especially if you watch Reggie Jackson and Barry Bonds and the performances yesterday. I know you were there live. I let them loose. I didn't know where it came from.
I watched those guys walk onto the field. And I know we got to go, but Willie was the one we were so focused on yesterday. But there were 60 former players from the Negro Leagues there last night who are still alive. 2 from the, the original Negro Leagues that ended, they usually say 1948, that World Series was the last one of the original league. And 60 of them in their walkers, in their wheelchairs, and having the current players walk those guys out onto the field. Oh my gosh.
Dave, I know you got to run, but Bill Greason, the guy that threw 99 years old. This guy's a reverend. He grew up on the same street as Martin Luther King Jr., was in the Battle of Iwo Jima, pitched in the major leagues and in the Negro Leagues. And he's 99 and still smart as well. The memory was
Willie.
Insane.
And he played with Willie.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Played with Willie, came out to our park when we retired Monty Irvin's number. I mean, when was that, 15 years ago? Something like that. He came out to San Francisco and participated in those ceremonies, and he and Willie it was like they never left each other. They were like the best of friends all over again. That guy, who's had a life like that? I mean, seriously, the flag raising at Iwo Jima and all the civil rights stuff that he helped with Martin Luther King Jr., roommates with Willie Mays, played in the big leagues, and has served his hometown for the last 75 years. It's like, come on, man.
Insane.
What a guy.
The smile on his face when he was interviewed during the game was just unbelievable. And he was still as sharp as he's been.
And when Ken Rosenthal was done, he said, was that good enough? That was so good.
He was
Bill. Yeah, Bill, that was good enough.
That was all right, man. All right, Flem, man. Enjoy your day off, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Anytime. Dave Flemming here on the Morning Roast with Joe Spadoni in for Joe Shasky. He's out. He'll be back on Monday. I'm Bonta Hill. That was a lot of fun there. We'll get to the calls, 888-957-9570. Bill Creason.
It's one of the great, like, to this point, like, that's one of the most craziest lives I've ever seen.
Bill Creason, and he was just sitting there when Kid goes, "Oh, you were the first black player to pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals," and he chuckled like, and he was just